Hi, boys and girls, welcome back. I have another first grade virtual summer video lesson for you. I'm Miss Maldonado, and our lesson for today is going to be in science. Okay, and this lesson in science is going to be about fish. Since we have been learning all about fish this week, I have a video that's going to show us some really cool fish and also some interesting things about fish that we would like to learn.
Hello friends, and welcome to a new happy learning video. Today we're going to learn about the wettest animals on the planet. Presenting the fish. In almost all the places where you can find water, be it either salt water or fresh water, you can also find fish. There are fish of all sorts of sizes, shapes and colors, and yet they all have common characteristics, which you should know. Fish are vertebrates. Their skeleton is made up of bones or cartilage. They are also cold-blooded. Their temperature is not constant, meaning it depends on the water temperature. This fish looks really cold. All fish have extremities in the form of fins, as you can see in this image. Dorsal fins, caudal fins, which is the tail, pectoral fins, pelvic fins, and anal fin. Another really important fact that one must remember is that almost all fish are covered in scales. The gills are the fish's respiratory organ. The respiration process is very interesting. Water enters through the mouth and goes to the gills. The gills then collect the oxygen and distribute it to the rest of the body through the blood vessels. Then the water is expelled through an opening which can be found in the majority of the fish behind their head, which is called the gill flap. Fish reproduce by laying eggs. Therefore, they are oviparous, and their fertilization can be either external or internal. Some fish are excellent fathers, like this one who protects his babies inside his mouth. He looks as if he's going to eat them, but he's actually protecting them. Look at that! Isn't it amazing? Almost all fish are carnivores, eating other fish smaller than themselves, and therefore they each have different ways of defending themselves. The most common action to take is when feeling threatened is to escape as fast as possible, as in to swim away rapidly. But there are other ways of defending themselves that are much more original. For example, this clownfish finds hiding himself among these venomous enemies. Others imitate or camouflage themselves with their background by obtaining the color and shape of the plants and rocks around them. Can you see this fish in the image? Oh, well, there was indeed a fish, and a very hungry one. Look at this. This is the largest fish in the world, the whale shark. Even though it is called a whale shark, you must remember it is actually a shark, not a whale. Whales are not fish. They are aquatic animals, like these friendly dolphins. So never forget, whales and dolphins are not fish, but mammals. Now I have a very important fact you must always remember. It's extremely important. As you already know, fish, as well as many other animals, live in the water. Water is essential for life. And for this reason, we must look after it. We must protect it. There are people who dirty nature by throwing rubbish into the rivers and oceans without thinking about their terrible consequences they're causing. Plastics and substances which contaminate the water kill a huge amount of fish. Turtles, dolphins, whales, sharks, and many more die every day because of contamination. Water is a source of life. We must take care of it and protect it. So now you know, look after nature and all living things, and they can live happily. Goodbye, friends. Until next happy learning video.
Okay, boys and girls, so after that really interesting video about fish, we are going to review some vocabulary words. Here's our vocabulary to remember, okay? And one of the words that we learned was vertebrate, okay? That's an animal that has a backbone and a skeleton. So we know that fish have a vertebrate. Now, another vocabulary word to remember is oviparous. And oviparous is producing young by means of eggs that are hatched after they have been laid by the parent. So that means that the fish are also oviparous. They lay the eggs, okay, and that are hatched by the parent. Also, another thing about fish is that they are carnivorous. That means that they feed on other animals, okay? They eat meat, like carnivores, carnivorous, okay? That's from the same word, carnivorous, feeding on other animals. Okay, so now I have a question for you, boys and girls. Towards our end of our fish video, they talked about what we could do to keep our ocean healthy for the fish and the sea life that lives there. So what are some things as you were watching the video and now that you can think of, how can you help keep our ocean healthy for all of these animals that live there? Perhaps maybe if we visit the beach, what could we do with our trash? Or, for example, there's other things that go in the water, trash, like paper, plastic bags, a lot of things, boys and girls, that harm our animals. So maybe if we can keep our oceans nice and clean after we visit them, so we can have them for a long time and we can keep on enjoying those. Okay, boys and girls, so that is your question to keep in mind. How can you help keep our ocean healthy for the fish and sea life? Okay, so I want you to think about that question because that's going to be your assignment for this video to answer that question. Okay, so next we have a project, okay, that we are going to be working on. Okay, and for this project, let's see if I can get it on here. Okay, for this project, it's called the Folded Fish Surprise Art Project. Now, when we are working with any kinds of our projects, boys and girls, just use what you have at home. Try to be resourceful. I know right now it's hard to get some things to you. So if you have whatever kind of piece of paper if you have, use. You don't have to use markers. You can use crayons. Perhaps you might have some colored pencils. Whatever it is that you have, boys and girls, use what you have, okay? If it's a piece of paper and if it has something on one side, you can just probably turn it over and use the back side. Okay, you can also do that. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with this project. Since we have been learning about fish, I thought that this would be a really cool project for you to do. Okay, so you're going to be doing a lot of drawing. You're going to do the drawing first, and then you are going to fold the paper. If you can see, it's really cool. If you can see the fish on this side, his mouth is closed. But if you see the fish on the other side, on the right side, his mouth is open and he's eating a pizza. Well, they drew a pizza in for that fish, but you are welcome to draw a donut, a taco. Maybe you can even draw another fish or whatever it is. Be creative, boys and girls. If you want to draw something else, maybe it could be your favorite food. that you can put there for the fish to eat. Okay, so have fun with it. That's the main point, is for you to have fun. This is going to be a fun lesson. We want to make all of our lessons fun. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the video. So make sure you have your paper and a pencil or a crayon or whatever it is that you're going to use to draw. And then you can go back and color it. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And if you need to, boys and girls, go back and pause the video. Go back and see the video again, or you can pause the video as it goes. Whatever you want to do is perfectly fine. All right, boys and girls, so let's get started with this really cool art project. Okay, so hopefully it'll start loading soon. There we go.
Hey guys, how's it going? So right now everyone is all about these folded surprise art lessons. So I thought I would show you guys a really simple one that you can do at home. So all you need is a piece of paper and something to draw with and a couple things to color with. So this piece of paper is actually a little bit smaller. I actually cut this in half so I could work with something a little bit smaller. So the first thing is you have to fold this in half. So I'm going to take my paper and I'm going to fold this end all the way up to here.
So what he was saying, boys and girls, is that he had a piece of paper and he cut it smaller. So say, for example, if I have this piece of paper, okay, it's a regular size paper, maybe I can just fold it, okay, and I can just use this piece, okay, because it has to be a little bit long. Okay, so remember, this was a whole piece of paper. I can just fold it and just use this half, okay? And this is the half that he has there. Okay, so he's not using the whole paper. He's only just using half of the paper, so he can make two fish with one regular sized piece of paper.
Here. So I'm going to line up the edges of my paper and then just press down. Now, you have a little birthday card shape. Then I want to flip it up like this. And now this front flap, I want to fold this down to my fold. So I'm going to bend this down and line it up right here. And then just press it down like this so you get a nice fold. So when you're done, you should have something that kind of looks like a little chair or a little bird, whatever. So now to make our fish. So when you're drawing these things, you want to make sure that the top half of your drawing is above the fold and the bottom half is below your fold. So to make my fish, I'm going to start off by drawing a big sad face above my fold, and then I'm going to make a big smiley face below my fold and make sure these lines match up. Now, to add some little details to the fish. So first I'm going to give my fish an eye. So I'm just going to draw a big circle. Then I'm going to draw a medium circle. And then a small circle. And I'm going to color in this medium circle. Now, I'm going to give my fish a small mouth right here. So I'm just going to draw a little smiley face. And I'll just put a little line at the top there. Now, I like to give my fish a gill. So starting right here, I'm just going to curve up like this, just to show where the fish's gills are. Next, to add some more details. So first I want to put a fin on top of here. So just starting here, I'm just going to make a little wavy line. You can do any type of fin that you want. And then I want to do that same shape down here. So I'm going to start off with a tall wavy line and then make it smaller as it goes farther away. Then I want to add the tail. So the tail of the fish is I'm going to draw the top half above the fold, and then I'm going to draw the bottom half below the fold, and I want to make sure that I line up these two marks. Then, for the little fin, I'm just going to make something that kind of matches the tail and the top and bottom fin. Then you can add a few little lines on here just to make it a little bit more detailed. Put a few on the fin and then a couple on the bottom fin. Now, while you have your picture folded, this is a good time to add any details onto the body of your fish. So I'm going to put a few stripes on here. So starting at the bottom, I'm just going to make some wavy lines like this. And I'm going to continue those all the way along my fish. Put some right here. And just like that. So now I have the top and bottom of my fish complete. So then when I open this up, I have two halves of a fish. It kind of looks like a burger bun. And now you just have to draw the inside. So I like to start with the back first. So I want to connect the tail and I want to continue with this wavy line pattern. So starting right here, I'm just going to continue that pattern all the way down here. Then I want to draw the back of the fish. So I'm just going to make a nice line that goes straight down to the back of the fish. Now, before we do any of these details, I want to add the mouth. Now, this is really important when making these fish. Starting at the top here, I want to draw this line down just a little bit so that when it's folded up, my fold covers it. So I'm just going to draw this line down just a bit, like that. And then I want to do the same thing on here, but I want to draw this line up. So I want to make sure this line is up a little bit above that fold. Sometimes if you don't do that, people will draw the mouth of this and you can see it when the fish is folded up and it just won't look right. So now that I've extended these two lines, I'm going to make the mouth. So starting right here, I'm going to make a line that goes straight across. And then I'm going to make a line that goes straight across right here, keeping it above the fold. Then I'm just going to connect it like that. Now once I have the mouth done, then I can finish off my details. So I'm just going to continue this stripe pattern all the way down. Make sure that your lines are always lining up on the end here. Like that. Then you can add a few details inside the mouth. I'm going to add some teeth, so I'm just going to make a couple big V's right here. And then I'm just going to make some triangles right here. Then I'm going to add a few more lines back here to finish off the details of my tail. Then you can have lots of fun with this. You can draw something inside the fish's mouth. You can, be silly. You can make another fish. People have done fishing hooks. You can do anything. I'm just going to make it kind of silly, and I'm going to draw a little piece of pizza inside the fish's mouth. But like I said, you guys can make anything that you want to. There we go, just kept it simple. So that is your basic folded up surprise fish. Now when you fold it up, you have this happy little fish, and then when you open it up, you see that it actually has a really big mouth ready to eat whatever comes near it. Now I'm going to start coloring this, and I always tell all of my students that when you color this, less is more. So keep it simple. Stay away from rainbow explosions. So just because you have access to a bunch of colors doesn't mean you need to put every single color on here. I like to stick with about 3, maybe 4 colors at the most on my fish. So I'm going to fast forward and start coloring this. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed.